Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the channel and another episode of the Weekly Watchers. Actually I've done pretty well this week, to be honest. There is only really, out of all of the films that I've watched this week, one that I didn't get on with, and I've seen 11, so pretty good. So we'll get crack straight on because there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, let's get straight on with it. With the first one, which I don't actually even know if I've shown in a video yet. I think I may have forgotten to show this one off. I could be wrong, I may have shown this and completely forgot about it, but yeah, I can't remember if I have or haven't. But it's called Being Flynn, and it stars Robert De Niro and Paul Dano. And basically it follows mainly Paul Dano's character, who kind of doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. He's kind of always had expectations, like his father's left him when he was young, hasn't been in his life, and then out of the blue he rings him up and asks him to kind of help him move his stuff out of his apartment. His father, of course, being played by Robert De Niro, who's this author that's, in his words, is one of the greatest authors ever to have lived, that nobody knows about because the book that he wrote was never published. So to him, it's one of the best works of fiction ever made, but nobody's ever read it because it was never published. And it's kind of about him sort of seeing his son for the first time in 18 years. His son starts working at a local homeless shelter, at which time he bumps into his father again because his father's been made homeless. So they're sort of trying to reconcile their relationship with each other, but they're both very different people. His mother committed suicide when he was younger, when he was a teenager. His mother in this being played by the always brilliant Julianne Moore, one of my favourite actresses. She's not got a huge part in it, but of course she's brilliant in it. She's Julianne Moore. And yeah, it's a really easy watch. I personally really enjoy these types of films. I mean, it's Robert De Niro. He's a high quality actor, so you kind of know the performance you're going to get from him. And yes, it was just a thoroughly enjoyable watch. So yeah, that one I definitely recommend. That is Being Flynn. Next up, I followed that up with a Polanski film, which was The Ghost, or if you're Jim, my American, or any other of my American friends that watch the channel, you'll probably know it more as being called The Ghost Writer. And basically this starts after the tragic death of an ex-Prime Minister's ghostwriter, who was also his close friend for many years. Basically, this young journalist, played by Ewan McGregor, is hired to complete the Prime Minister, played by Pierce Brosnan's, memoirs. So he is basically sent to this isolated sort of island off the coast of America, and they've got their own massive estate. And he's basically sent there just to finish up for 4 weeks, just to finish up this memoir, get it all sorted, get it published. You've got Kim Cattrall, who plays the ex-Prime Minister Adam Lang's assistant, who's kind of helping Ewan McGregor's journalist character with what he needs to help him get the memoir finished. What I did really like about this is you never find out what his character's name is. He's always just known as the Ghost, which I like the way they've done that. Yeah, it's just a really well made, like, sort of conspiracy thriller film that you don't really see much anymore. You got Olivia Williams, who plays Pierce Brosnan's character's wife. She's really good in it as well. Small performance from Eli Wallach in this. He's only got one scene in it. You got a nice little performance from Tom Wilkinson as well. Jim Belushi pops up in it as well. John Bernthal. Really good, solid cast in this one. And yeah, really had me on the edge of my seat. Wanted to know what was going on. I said this on the live stream last week. I personally really think this is my favourite Polanski film now. Just I like these types of films. And it's got kind of going down a rabbit hole, uncovering more information. This big conspiracy with this, is there something that he did in his past that's being covered up that's caused his old ghostwriter to be killed or something? Lots of questions going around. And yeah, just one that, yeah, really good film. Really recommend this if you like those sorts of films. Roy was the one that put me onto this, and I got it in the charity shop a few weeks back now. So yeah, that was a really good watch, that one, The Ghost. Next up was the Watch Pile pick of the week, so I won't go over this one too much because I've already spoken about it in that video. So if you want to know my full thoughts on the film, go back and check that video out. But it was Final Destination 2, and like I said in the video, it's pretty much the same thing as the first film. It's okay. These aren't films that I absolutely love. They're entertaining enough. I'm not massive into lots of gore, which these films do tend to rely on a bit sometimes, with like the kills and stuff. But it was alright. It was passable. The story, like I said, it's just a retread of the first one, and I can imagine the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth are all going to be a similar sort of thing. I will watch them eventually. I've not got a rush to watch them unless, of course, again, they're picked in one of the Watch Pile videos. Yeah, it was okay. It was manageable for an hour and a half. So yeah, that's Final Destination 2. Next up, we have I'll Do Anything, which is a James L. Brooks film. Great cast. You've got Nick Nolte, you've got Albert Brooks, Julie Kavner, Jolie Richardson, Tracy Ullman, Whitney Wright, who plays Nick Nolte's character's daughter in the film, and a small performance from Ian McKellen as well. And it's, I would say, sort of a romantic comedy. If you know the sort of James L. Brooks films, like you got Terms of Endearment, Broadcast News, As Good as It Gets, that sort of thing, that is pretty much what this is. It's about a sort of out of work actor. He's never really quite managed to get to the status that he wants to, never really managed to make it big. He's had small bits of success but never broke through, and is just trying to get that big break. And one day he gets a phone call basically saying that he's got to take his daughter, his young 6-year-old daughter, who he hasn't seen in years, and look after her because something has happened to her mother, which means she's got to be in his care now. And it's kind of them both getting used to each other in a way. Him obviously on the hunt for work, whilst trying to raise his daughter. And yeah, really pleasant film this was. Really did enjoy this one. Some great performances in there. Great score by Hans Zimmer as well. It's not my favourite James L. Brooks film, but I don't think I've seen one that I've not liked. I even like, did he do Spanglish as well? I'm sure he did Spanglish. And How Do You Know? I even like those. Those were alright. I'm really looking forward to his new one that comes out just before Christmas, Ella McKay, just because he hasn't done a film in, 15 years? And he's got a great cast lined up. I mean, I think, is it Emma Mackey, Woody Harrelson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Albert Brooks? There's probably more that I'm forgetting, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But this one, yeah, if you like these sorts of films, then yeah, I definitely say it's worth a watch. That's I'll Do Anything. And then next up, I watched a film called Snow Angels with Kate Beckinsale and Sam Rockwell. It says Some Will Fall, Some Will Fly. This was a really good film as well. It's directed by David Gordon Green, who is probably infamously known for directing the most recent Halloween trilogy and The Exorcist. It's Believer in it, the first one. They were supposed to do a sequel called Deceiver, but I think it got cancelled. Yeah, it's just about these characters in this small town. You got Kate Beckinsale's character, who's a waitress in a Chinese restaurant, just trying to make it by. She's trying to raise her young daughter. after she split up from her ex-husband, played by Sam Rockwell, who's a bit of an alcoholic. He's struggling from the breakup a bit, but he's also trying to be a better man to be able to help raise his daughter. You got Michael Angenora's character, who's a young man, also works at this Chinese restaurant, and Kate Beckinsale's character was his babysitter growing up. So he's kind of trying to work his way through youth, I suppose, at school and stuff, and he starts a new relationship with Olivia Thirlby's character. She's actually been in 3 films I've watched this week. Yeah, I don't know, like, just a bit random, isn't it? Because she wasn't really ever in much. She popped up again recently in Oppenheimer, didn't she? But yeah. And yeah, it's basically a tragic event happens, which kind of brings all of the residents, all of our characters together. And I'll leave it there. If you like a good indie drama, recommend this one. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. Thought it was a really good film. Kate Beckinsale's great in it. Sam Rockwell, and just another one of my absolute favourite actors. He just continues to prove himself that he deserves to have more of a status than he does. He deserves to be an absolute A-lister, but I just don't think he's ever really quite made it there. Anytime he's in a film, I'll watch it. Whether it's Conviction, not seen Conviction, check Conviction out. Absolutely brilliant film with Hilary Swank as well. Or Moon, or Three Billboards. Of course, Three Billboards won his Oscar for Three Billboards. Or you go to Seven Psychopaths, another Martin McDonagh film. Or Say When, known as Laggies in America. That's a great one. Don Verdean, really like that one as well. Or even if you go all the way back to Galaxy Quest, great in Galaxy Quest as well. Yeah, love Sam Rockwell. And yeah, another really good performance from him in Snow Angels. Then next up we have Dinner in America, which was recommended to me by quite a few people who said it's a really good film, and I can't argue with that. It's very funny, very good. And yes, Lisa, I know Lisa's mentioned the singing scene. Yeah, I did really like that. That song, yeah, it's just got stuck in my head. Is it called Watermelon, I think, the song? It's just stuck in my head now. Yeah, just a great, really funny, again, indie sort of comedy. Love these sorts of films. Like, when they're made and they're good, yeah, just love it. Got a great little cast as well. Carl Gollner, who I believe... What else have I seen him in? I've seen him in something else, but I can't think what. Because I haven't seen Strange Darling yet, and I know he's in that, but I'm sure I've seen him in something else before, but it's out of my head. Yeah. You've got, who else is in this that I know? Griffin Gluck, Pat Healy, Mary Lynn Rajskub, I know her as well. Leah Thompson's got a small role in it as well. Yeah, just a fun film about a guy who is basically wanted by the police, and he's sort of on the run, and he comes across this girl, and she's a bit different. She's got her own way. She's very different, very socially awkward, but she takes an interest in him and helps him out, gives him a place to lay low, staying with her family who don't know who he is, and they sort of get into trouble with each other, go on this sort of adventure. Yeah, it's very funny, some very good characters in here, and yeah, one that I shall definitely be watching again soon. Yeah, that's Dinner in America. Next up we have The Emperor's Club, starring Kevin Kline, and I've mentioned this in my pickups video. I would say, although I haven't seen these films, so it's hard to compare this to them, but I'd say it's a cross between Goodbye Mr. Chips and Dead Poets Society. It basically follows this teacher at this prestigious all-boys school in the 70s. And basically his class of students, he's a classics teacher, so he's basically teaching them all about old history, so like the Roman Empire, like the emperors, hence the Emperor's Club. And every year they have this sort of competition sort of thing called the Julius Caesar something, where they're basically asked all these questions about the Roman Empire and all these emperors, and whoever wins is Mr. Julius Caesar or whatever. But he's got his own methods of teaching, and there's this young student who's a bit troubled, played by Emile Hirsch, doesn't really want to play by the rules until one day he's basically given sort of a final warning, and he sort of takes a shine into Kevin Kline's teacher and changes all of the students' lives forever. It then goes 25 years later. There's sort of a school reunion, and I'll leave it at that. Really good film. I really did like this film, and you got a very young Jesse Eisenberg in here, a very young Paul Dano in here as well. Edward Herrmann, who's a great character actor. You've got Patrick Dempsey in here. Harris Yulin's got a small role in here. Emmett Davids as well. Really good film, really underrated film that I've never heard anyone mention before. But I think when I was watching Being Flynn, that was when I was kind of looking at Olivia Thirlby's filmography, seeing what else she'd been in, which was the reason I ordered Snow Angels and another one we'll be talking about shortly. And then I looked at what Paul Dano had been in that I wasn't too familiar with, and this was one of them. I thought, I kind of knew the title but didn't know what it was about, and I knew Kevin Kline was in it, but again I didn't know what it was about. So yeah, pleasantly surprised by this one. Recommend that one as well. That is The Emperor's Club. Next up, Sam will be happy I finally watched this one, and of course he knew I was going to enjoy it. Of course I bloody enjoyed it. The Royal Tenenbaums. Finally got around to watching it. Still got is it the Darjeeling Limited I've still got to watch, and Bottle Rocket and Rushmore, and I've seen them all. Although I need to get The Life Aquatic because I don't actually have that one yet. Basically, this follows Royal Tenenbaum, played by Gene Hackman, his wife Etheline, played by Angelica Houston, and their 3 children, Chaz, Margot, and Richie, played by Ben Stiller, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Luke Wilson. And basically, it's about a dysfunctional family story, I suppose, in a way. Basically, Royal has been kind of estranged from his family for quite a few years. He finds out that his wife, who they've never actually got divorced, they've just been separated, is about to get remarried to Danny Glover's character, and he wants to try and win her back. So he fakes a terminal illness, says that he's dying, tries to win his way back into the family that way. You've also got their neighbour, played by Owen Wilson, who has basically been friends with Richie for years, which is funny because they're real life brothers, of course. And yes, it's just a typical Wes Anderson film. Stuart, eat your heart out. I know Stuart doesn't like Wes Anderson. Well, I say he doesn't like Wes Anderson. He's never given a Wes Anderson film a go, so I don't understand how he can say he doesn't like something if he's never tried it. Although I suppose you could say, yeah, I was going to say something, but maybe I'll leave that to the stream, because it's a bit more explicit, so I might leave that to the stream. But there's some things that I know for a fact that I don't like, so I suppose, why would I try it? So I suppose, in a way, that's Stuart's thinking. But still, you can't go wrong with Wes Anderson. He's just such a unique filmmaker. Haven't seen a bad film by him. I know Sam's not a fan of his newer stuff. I still like them. I've still got them all in the collection. I will get the Phoenician Scheme when it does come out next month. But yeah, really enjoy this one. Gene Hackman. I've seen another Gene Hackman, or have I seen 2? Yeah, another Gene Hackman film this week. I just love Gene Hackman. These old school actors that are no longer with us, Sean Connery's another one. I'm trying to get through a lot of his films that I've not seen. Richard Harris is another actor that I really want to watch more of his stuff. But yeah, The Royal Tenenbaums, yeah, great film. Then next up we have a film called The Whackness, the other Olivia Thirlby film that I picked up. Stars Ben Kingsley, Josh Peck, Famke Janssen, Olivia Thirlby, Mary-Kate Olsen, and Method Man, and it's directed by Jonathan Levine, who for me did Warm Bodies, which I really liked, and Long Shot, which I really liked, and did All the Boys Loved Mandy Lane, which don't think it's supposed to be very good. That was his first film, and then he followed it up with this. It's basically set to a great hip-hop soundtrack. It basically follows Luke, played by Josh Peck, who's a bit of a loner, but he basically deals drugs on the side to kind of get by, help his family out as well. He's got a therapist who's a bit dysfunctional, a bit crazy, played by Ben Kingsley, who he's got a weird sort of friendship with as well. But he falls for his therapist's stepdaughter, played by Olivia Thirlby, who, I don't know, just takes an interest in him, and girls generally haven't in the past. And he just falls really hard for her. And it's just set over a summer in 1994 in New York, against this great soundtrack, and it's just them kind of living life in the summer. And yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. Ben Kingsley, can't go wrong with Ben Kingsley. Josh Peck, who I'm very glad that when they mentioned Josh Peck, I don't know if you can see, I don't know if it's going to focus. Is it going to focus? There you go. They mentioned Mean Creek, which I'm happy that they mentioned that. Yeah, really good, funny, romantic sort of comedy, drama, like I said, with a great soundtrack. So yeah, recommend that one. That is The Whackness. This is the one I just didn't really get on with. It's called Final Cut. It was one that I picked up in the charity shop yesterday when I was out with Tim. I wasn't really paying attention to this one. I don't really know what was going on. Just wasn't interested in it at all, really. Might give it a go again in the future. Just wasn't in the mood to watch it when I put it on. You got Ray Winston, Sadie Frost, and Jude Law. Basically, it's about this group of friends that are all getting together at the funeral of one of their friends, played by Jude Law. They get together, and he's basically made this small film all about them. But it turns out the film is a bit compromising in a way. It shows them all in a bad light, uncovers some secrets that maybe they shouldn't have uncovered, and even maybe tell them what really happened to him. But yeah, I just really wasn't watching this much. Couldn't tell you if it was any good, because I was really zoned out when I was watching this. So if anyone has seen this and it is any good, please do let me know, and I'll give it another go again, like I said. But yeah, that is Final Cut. Then next up, I watched Bright Young Things, which I said, well, you won't have seen it yet in my video. What a fantastic cast this had. It's a Stephen Fry film. And I'll just read off the cast for you. It's Emily Mortimer, Stephen Campbell Moore, Dan Aykroyd, Jim Broadbent, Simon Callow, Jim Carter, Stockard Channing, Richard E. Grant, Guy Henry, James McAvoy, Julia Mackenzie, John Mills, Alec Newman, Bill Patterson, Michael Sheen, Imelda Staunton, David Tennant, Harriet Walter, Fenella Walgar, and Peter O'Toole. Great cast. It's basically set, I suppose, the late 30s in London, about all these young party people. They're all young, they're all quite well off, and they all like to party. They're like, everybody knows who they are. It's all about like sex, drugs, but not so much rock and roll, because it wasn't around back then. And yeah, it's just about the characters, their lives, them growing up. And basically there's this piece that's published in a newspaper. I think it's called, is it Mr. Chatterbox, I think? Character played by James McAvoy, who he's just a journalist, that's the name he goes by, who writes like really bad stuff in the paper about certain people if he doesn't like them. He basically gets shunned one day at this party and decides to just let loose and just sprawls all this stuff out about all of these young, like Emily Mortimer, you got Stephen Campbell Moore, all of them. And it kind of changes their lives a bit. But yeah, really did enjoy this one. Like I said, great cast, which always helps. Really entertaining film. So yeah, that was Bright Young Things. And last, but by no means least, I do enjoy these types of films. The other Gene Hackman film I watched, which was Heartbreakers, which is Gene Hackman, Sigourney Weaver, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Ray Liotta, Jeffrey Jones, Jason Lee, about these two, the mother and daughter, who basically are in the business of conning men by basically Sigourney Weaver will get them to fall in love with her, marry them, and then Jennifer Love Hewitt will come along, kind of make it though the man's cheating, so she can get a divorce and get a good settlement, and they just keep doing that. The first in the film that they do it to is Ray Liotta's character, Dean, who is absolutely smitten with Sigourney Weaver's character, and when they get divorced, just doesn't want to take no for an answer. But they go to, I think, is it Palm Beach, Florida, to try and find off. They're going to do a final job to get enough money to just not have to do it anymore, and they set their sights on Gene Hackman's character, William B. Tenzie, who owns this big tobacco company and is a billionaire. So Sigourney Weaver is trying to basically seduce him and get him to marry her. But whilst doing it, Jennifer Love Hewitt meets Jason Lee's character, who owns a bar. To start with, she thinks she could kind of get in on it, but then they start to get feelings for each other, as you kind of expect. You got Ray Liotta's character who comes back in because he wants to try and win Sigourney Weaver's character back. It's very funny. I did really have a good time with this. I did laugh quite a bit. The score is done by John Debney, but the actual theme of the film is scored by Danny Elfman. And yeah, it's just a really funny comedy from the early noughties. If you like those sorts of films, like an easy watch, yeah, one that I would definitely recommend. That is Heartbreakers. And that is it. That is everything that I've watched this week. Let me know if you've seen any of the films that I've watched this week, and let me know your thoughts on them down below. Quite a good week this week, 11 titles. See how many I can get done this week. I will say, just whilst I remember, in terms of the watch pile, this week's episode will be normal, but then going forward, the following 2 weeks, I am at the cinema on the Tuesday night when I would normally be recording my watch pile video. So I've just decided that I'm going to do it later in the week, record it on the Thursday to go up on a Friday, so it'll be a Friday video instead. Just means you'll get one less video a week for 2 weeks, unless I've got an extra one to go up. And then the week after that, I'm away, so there won't be any videos for 2 weeks, whilst I'm away, obviously, because I've got no means of recording any videos. I can't do this because I won't be watching any of my physical media. I won't be able to do watch pile, I won't be picking anything up, so there won't be any videos, but I will still try and do the live streams. The Monday is a no-no, because I'll be travelling on the Monday, the 25th, that's the bank holiday, but I'll try and do it later in the week, see if everyone is free on a night to do it later on in the week, one evening, and then the following Monday, I'll still be away, but I will be able to do it on the Monday again. So yeah, still be live streams, just no videos whilst I'm away, because I've got no means of making them whilst I'm out there. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, turn your notification bell on so you know when I have a new video uploaded to the channel, comment down below anything and everything. As you know, I always take the time to get back to anyone that leaves me a comment because I really do appreciate it. And that's it, so until next time everyone, take care, goodbye.